Hello, friends. Josh here. It is the evening of October 27th, 2024, as I am recording this. If you are caught up on the feed, you will have heard in the last couple of episodes that we had been taking a hiatus due to my involvement in a local theater production. Our final show was earlier today, so that is now behind us, but it will still be a couple of weeks before Dan and I have a chance to get together to record and release a new episode. I did also mention that there was an actual play that I had been involved with. That show has now officially been released with the first story arc in its entirety available online. I asked Susan, who's the game master and producer for that show, if it would be okay if I dropped the introductions episode into the feed here so that people would be able to have a chance to hear it. It would be really cool if you would go over and give it a listen. Had a lot of fun working on it. There are more story arcs that are going to be done for this, but the release schedule for that show is going to be somewhat irregular. But you do have the entire first story arc available now, as I had said. Without further ado, here is Susan with our introductory episode.
Hey there, beautiful people. Susan here. I am about to introduce to you the first game that I am going to be playing and highlighting on my podcast, Novel Games. This game is called Apocalypse Keys. I want to read from the book, straight from the book to you guys, because this writing is absolutely incredible. I cannot say it any better. So I'm just going to read the first page and a half from, I am going to read the first page of the book and then paraphrase a lot from the second page of the book. The end is nigh. This world is fragile. Things howl at the edge of reality and claws reach out to find a way in. The ancient doors of power connect this world to destiny. If harbingers of the apocalypse open enough of these doors, the world will end on their terms. It could be fiery, of blood and bone, a living nightmare. It could be quiet, a shiver and whisper, a twisted dream. The world will end, and it will be remade in ways too terrible to contemplate. From the ashes or the shadows, only the harbingers know what will rise to claim what remains. But you're not going to let that happen, are you? You've come to love this world, even if it doesn't completely accept you. You are an agent of Department of Interdimensional Vigilance and International Security Interdisciplinary Operations Network, Division. An organization that combats occult threats, classifies supernatural phenomena, and investigates the encroaching apocalypse. You are part of an elite group with a unique set of skills. Only you can hold back the apocalypse and hold this broken world together. But you are a monster. There are many monsters in the world, but not all of them are useful to Division. Most of them are just trying to live their lives as best they can. They're not equipped to hold back the end of days. They are not marked by a strange fate. You are an Omen-class monster. Your power may one day be your undoing, or it may signal our last best hope. Your power comes at a cost. The darkness has demands of you. If you fulfill too many of these demands and give in to the darkness too often, you'll become a harbinger of the apocalypse. Then only Division and your former friends can stop you. But if your heart is strong enough to resist and temper the darkness within yourself, your monstrous powers may turn the tides of the apocalypse. You may become the force that finds the light in the dark and defies all odds to save this world. You have so much power, but what you truly have is this: magic and fear, healing and hope. And it will have to be enough. Hey! Welcome to Apocalypse Keys. This is a tabletop role-playing game about monsters holding back the apocalypse. Apocalypse. These monsters are agents who work for Division, a mysterious organization dedicated to understanding the occult, taming the supernatural, and protecting the world. A world that is built for the mundane and for humans. A world that tries to pretend monsters are not real. So Apocalypse Keys is a game of emotional connection, complicated relationships, unpredictable mysteries, larger-than-life apocalyptic threats, and the brightest hope in the darkest despair. You are monsters bound by fate, love, and power. So Apocalypse Keys asks us to play characters who are conflicted and complex, yearning to connect meaningfully to the monsters and the humans around them. The players are terrifying and monstrous, but they are also achingly human. To play Apocalypse Keys means playing vulnerable characters in a position to hurt and be hurt. The emotional tension of the game lies in the characters attempting to move past that and accept that they'll make mistakes while striving to be better. I love this game so much. Apocalypse Keys was created by a fantastic individual named Ray Najati. It is, let me flip to the page. It is created by Ray Najati, and it is produced and distributed by Evil Hat Productions. You can find Apocalypse Keys on Evil Hat's website or going through drivethrurpg.com. That's actually where I've got my copy in my hands right now. Okay, so I collected my friends. We got together for a session 0 where we brainstormed what Division headquarters looks like, where it is physically, dimensionally in the world. You'll understand when you get into the first episode. But that session 0 was off mic, mainly because I didn't think that viewers would want to listen to 2 hours of character creation. I didn't know if you guys would care about that. If you do care about that, I suppose let me know. So session 0, character creation, world building was off mic. So what is about to follow is a 15-minute recording that we did, which is my players getting to introduce themselves to you and showing who their characters are before you dive into the story. So here you go. And whenever you are ready, Amber, you can start.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jax. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm playing Amber. The Surge is her playbook. Amber she's tall. She's probably medium weight, not particularly muscular, but she carries herself with a lot of confidence and impeccable posture. She looks like she's in her mid to late 30s, but sometimes the things that she does or the things that she says indicate that she might either be older than she looks or a little bit out of her time. She constantly wears sunglasses, even indoors, to hide her kind of yellow, amberish eyes that glow when she uses her powers. So she's constantly wearing sunglasses and buying new ones because they inevitably break on all of our missions. She's covered in tattoos that also react to her powers when she uses them and her emotions as she feels them. Not quite like a mood ring, but a little bit like that. When she's not on a mission, she very much wears like flowy outfits and is very casual. But when they go on missions, she wears a lot of like leather pants and leather jackets that help her from banging, like when she bangs into a wall or skids across the floor, that helps protect her. It also seems like leather is a little bit resistant to her powers, so she knows that if she uses them, her clothes will not be in tatters. Her powers of darkness are actually angelic fury and beauty and cosmic energies. So the Surge is a playbook where the character is handling a lot of really raw power that comes with a lot of collateral damage. And hers are very much tied to her emotions. And so she is constantly trying to balance keeping her cool and contained and keeping herself calm and preventing giant masses of power from coming out. Hers tends to take on the flavor of something angelic and bright white light, but that's also very destructive. So the darkness demands of her to serve the most powerful harbinger of the apocalypse and to erase humanity itself. And she is desperately trying not to do that at all costs. Her moves, the moves that I've taken for her, she actually gets one that is, I believe, the one that all of the surges get, I think, but if not, correct me. My hands around your heart is the name of the move. My power is a power never meant for me alone to bear. At the start of each session, choose another PC to be my heart and share the burden of your power with. You say what you hope they will save you from and what the darkness demands. So at the start of every mystery, I will be choosing a player character from our team here to share some of my power with, and we'll figure out what that looks like as we figure out what kind of shape that takes. And there's a list of things that I can do if we have an intimate moment together, or if I hit a breaking point or something of that nature. So there's different things they choose from there. The second move that I took is Heart's Eclipse. Your heart is a wild thing that surges along with your power, and one day your heart will break and your power will consume you. But that day is not today. So whenever I roll a miss, I can choose other things. I can have my power surge out of control and cause a lot of collateral damage, but still get the job done in the way that I needed and get conditions and bonds and things like that out of that. And the last power that I took from the main playbook is I Am Your Destruction. You hold on to your power with an intensity that would break most souls, and you're always a single breath away from shattering under the pressure. When you allow your power to surge and cause great collateral damage, ask the Keeper what catastrophic destruction you cause, and then choose to, again, from a list of things that I can do that we'll explore as we go. The last move that we get is from the other moves. I took a division move called Holy Symbol Arsenal. So generally speaking, when the division has a curated collection of holy symbols and can assign them out to different omens and folks on the team. So when I choose to use this, I talk about what that artifact is and how it's going to work and all of that. And since my powers are more angelic and holy in terms of their flavor, instead of it being an issue where my darkness is at a clash with the holy symbols, it's actually going to it's still going to have serious consequences for me using them, which is part of how this works because of that darkness and light. But it's going to be more along the lines of me having a difficult time controlling the extra power that these give me. And therefore, it could end up becoming a lot more destructive than I intended.
That covered everything wonderfully. Thank you so much, Jax. Let's move on to Llama.
Hi, my name is Llama, and when I can find the push to talk button, I'm actually quite talkative. My pronouns are she, her, and I am on the internet. You can usually find me in random meme channels on many a podcast Discord, really. I'm playing Ashlyn, a 20-ish looking young girl with curly red hair. In this world of monsters and the metaphysical, there's nothing too unusual about her appearance, though she is always followed by the smell of incense and flowers, which gives a subtle hint at her supernatural nature. My playbook is The Found. Ashlyn was found in an alien world and brought back against her will, so there was a division expedition that went into another dimension and found a completely lifeless world with a sole survivor sitting in the middle of it. Ashlyn was very much not good. Like, she was somewhat beside herself, screaming and sobbing and fighting off any attempt to communicate with her until a hero that was traveling with the expedition managed to soothe her, calm her down, eventually subdue her, and bring her back to this world. Ashen's powers of darkness are telepathy and mind blasts, as well as creature affinity. So she has a way with conscious thoughts and emotions, and failing that, she has this instinctual connection to things around her. But what the darkness demands of her is that she empower other harbingers of the apocalypse, maybe tying into that connection she has to literally everything around her, and also to destroy the bonds that she forges, ultimately leaving her truly alone. Her first move that she has in her playbook is "You can't hide your heart from me," which, hard to guess what that does, but guess what? It focuses on emotion. It ties in with her telepathy and allows her to search the thoughts and feelings of others around her, eventually even dipping into their subconscious. And her second move is "Walk with me in dreams," which somewhat blurs the lines between reality and dreams around her. And as even abstract concepts like locations and objects or buildings have dreams, and crossing the line between a dream and reality comes natural to her, it allows her to not only find information that might be hidden in dreams and couldn't be gleaned otherwise, but also actually allows her to pull part of the dream into reality if needed, or maybe the other way around. My division move is the hero's weapon. The hero that took Ashlyn back from her original desolate dimension wrapped his heavy cloak around her, which dampened the connection she has to everything. It is not a weapon per se, though it might be used as one. And this act has linked the hero and Ashen together on an emotional level, maybe even a metaphysical level of destiny, who's to say? Suffice it to say, this has been a very formative memory for her. As the Found is lacking a lot of their memories, this one's pretty important to her. And I look forward to bringing this cloak up in the future.
Thank you so much, Llama. All right. Chaotic, your turn.
My name is Chaotic. I use he, they pronouns. You can find me at Chaotic Blade 5 or Blade 5 Chaotic on most social media, but you can get a hold of me much faster on the Gauntlet Publishing Discord because I just hang out around there. I will be playing Ambrose Maddox. He is a little bit different from the rest of the Omens. He has this matter of fact voice. You can tell he is in a room with the scent of books and dark wood. The most discerning thing about him is his, lack of a body, let's say. So he has a wax approximation of what he once was. And there are symbols carved into the wax that show his connection to death, allowing him to make this wax effigy more closer to a puppet, let's say. My playbook is the Shade. He found the voice of death and tried to replace it. That destroyed his physical form. Not great. He can control machines with soul magic and talk to the dead. And the darkness demands that he reinvigorates an ancestral curse and to destroy anything resembling love. He has the moves of Death Walked here, which allows him to ask questions about death. About hey, what's going on? What do you know? As well as Soul like a steel trap, which allows him to just think through situations through very calmly, logically, and devise a perfect plan to get people out of a situation. And as my additional bonus goodie, instead of a division move, I picked a ruin move, which is Death Broke Me First, which allows me to bargain with death to save my fellow compatriots. Because, well, you can't get things done by yourself.
Oh, thank you, Chaotic. And finally, we have Josh.
Hi, my name is Josh. My pronouns are he, they. You can find me on a lot of social media under Lore Merchant, and also my website, loremerchant.com. Although I don't really post much to any of those, they are links to me. You can more commonly find me on the official FASA Games Discord, as I am a writer, developer, editor, and layout person, as well as wearing other hats for FASA Games' Earth Dawn role-playing game line. You can also find me on the Crit Show Discord because I tend to hang out there more where there is less pressure to be professional. I am playing Jacob Wrath, the Fallen. Jacob presents male, about 5'10", maybe 160, 170 pounds. Nothing too extreme about his appearance. He's got kind of sandy brown hair that looks like it's in need of a trim. Dark brown eyes, almost black. Clothing is fairly mundane. Slacks, button-down shirts, occasionally blazers, all in fairly blocky, simple colors. His expression almost always has this little wry or perhaps sardonic smile on it. But one thing that might be noticed is that when his expression gets even more enjoyable, when he smiles more broadly or seems to be taking pleasure in things, that expression never quite reaches his eyes. On the back of his neck, down at the nape, where it's usually concealed by the collars of the shirts or jackets that he's wearing, is a runic-type brand that he keeps concealed whenever possible. The powers of darkness that Jacob has are fear manipulation and soul venom. And what the darkness demands of him is to create dark churches in his name and to kill all the gods. The moves that I took, the default move for the Fallen is Call Me Master. When I declare how I am mesmerizing onlooking NPCs with my fated power, there are bonus effects that can result because of that, usually involving them coming under my thrall and worshiping me in some capacity. I also took Honeyed Tongue and Clouded Minds, which gives me additional effects that can happen when I lie or charm someone, even ones that can happen if I fail the roll. The persona that Jacob puts forward does tend to be very charming and charismatic and sort of has a mix of Southern preacher and not quite high-powered executive, but honest salesman kind of thing. Never quite being sleazy about it, but there is something very off-putting and charming about his general attitude. The last move that I took is the division move Monster Celebrity, which means that I have a public persona and there are questions that I needed to answer about how that public persona relates to my true nature and the things that I need to balance between that. It does allow me to take advantage of some things that hopefully will come into play during the course of our story.
I love this team we've created, and I can't wait to get to saving the world or ruining it, whatever happens. Novel Games is produced and edited by Susan Quintana. Music and sound effects sourced from artists on Soundstream. To find out more, visit novelgamespodcast.com.